Hello, Memorial basketball fans. I'm Charles Strayer.
And I'm Teddy Harless.
And welcome to another week of MHS basketball analysis. And we are nearing the end of the regular season here, and we have got more wins to report for you. Let's get started.
Yeah, starting off with the girls, they got a dominant win against Menominee on senior night. It was good to see such a blowout victory on senior night for all the seniors to be able to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really came from all levels of the program that win. We were seeing a lot of girls from all grade levels getting in there, getting good minutes. And that was really just kind of some preamble as well for the highly anticipated rematch between themselves and the Rice Lake Warriors, who dropped down to number 3 after taking a loss to Hudson on that last Tuesday. So they actually helped us secure that number 1 spot heading into it, but they did come to play.
Yeah, it was an exciting game against Rice Lake, and some of the key factors team-wise that allowed us to get that victory is that we were 42-12 in points in the paint and a strong second half. And a lot of what led to that great difference in the points in paint stat was Marlee Ferguson, who did an excellent job in a tough defensive assignment against Shepley, who was 4 for 15 on field goals and had 9 turnovers.
On the offensive side of things as well, Shepley is just about the hardest assignment you can be given, and Ferguson, a sophomore who has just recently begun to take a more active role on varsity, handled it spectacularly. Coming into this, she's been doing well, getting, double-digit scoring games, doing really well in those ensemble piece areas, but she took center stage and she was very, very competent under the lights of seeing Adeline Shepley and taking her down, intercepting a lot of crucial passes, really diminishing that size advantage. Shepley is 6'3". She's got D1 offers more so than a lot of the girls we're seeing for sure. And honestly, seeing her rise to the challenge and Ferguson taking down Shepley like that was really the most important factor, I'd say, in achieving this win.
Yeah, even getting a couple of blocks, too. Like, it was an all-around dominant performance defensively from Marlee Ferguson. And another person who we saw contributing in a big way to that point in the paint difference is Rayna Welsch.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, it seems as though she does that just about every game. She scored 24 points and was 8 for 11.
And I think a big takeaway just, from a larger lens here for the Rice Lake game is it shows how deadly a team-focused offense can be. And I think that really set us apart from that, where when we were able to get Shepley taken care of in a one-on-one assignment, and we also had some really smart the double team work where we were able to sneak in that second defender, kind of diminish Shepley, and from there on, they really couldn't get anything going in terms of a rhythm. It just seemed like Rice Lake couldn't find a way to really get a reliable manner to score through. They just didn't have much once their number 1 target was effectively neutralized. Whereas we were able to take many different avenues. We were able to find a soft spot in that zone on the left side of the paint, and that really contributed to getting a lot of looks for Rayna Welsch down low, and her 24 points really speak to that. And beyond her, we were able to get points by just running our offense and being able to take that momentum that came from shutting down Adeline Shepley.
Yeah, it was an excellent win against a tough opponent who we made it look like an easy win. And looking forward, now we are number 1 in the BRC and number 1 in the playoff standings or the playoff bracket that has released, which we will go into next week when the boys bracket is also released, just a preview of both of the playoff schedules at the same time. And this week we are looking at a game at Central, and later this week the first game in the doubleheader against North.
Yeah, we have a great opportunity to see a doubleheader at the Eagles Nest as we will take on the North Huskies for the second time for both teams this season. And to kick us off, we're going to be looking at, I think, a very similar sort of matchup. Coach Fanning and the girls clearly doing their homework and finding ways to reduce the threat of the Huskies' offense. Ellie O'Keefe, who is their top player in a lot of their categories, particularly on the offensive side of things, was really nowhere to be found. She had 7 turnovers to her name on the stat sheet and only managed to muster up 6 points. And from 3, the entire team was definitely subpar when it came to keeping pace with our attack. On the flip side of things, our star players really showed up, particularly the rising star being Nora Kling, who got a career-high 30 points at the Doghouse. So what do you think we need to do to reciprocate that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was definitely an excellent game she had, and I could see them bringing some more focus her way, or maybe even just daring her to do it again. If they bring some more focus, some more attention her way, that leaves open people like Rayna Welsch, who will be then able to feast, because if they're sending more, there's only a certain amount of attention each player can get.
Right.
And the reason why I think that was part of that big game is because Rayna Welsch, game in and game out, always is getting a lot of attention. If they look at that last game and see Nora had 30 points, we need to send some more attention her way, that might take some attention away from Rayna Welsch and cause her to have an opportunity to have a fantastic game.
Yeah, I think that that's really what we need to do. You kind of read my mind there. And something that'll work in our favor is that not only can Welsh do get it done down low, but so can Meredith Adams. She did a really nice job, I think, against Rice Lake, just kind of stepping into that role with Welsh off the court sometimes in relief. Sometimes it can seem like the offense of the opponent is kind of able to take that and get some footing in there. And also we see a bit of a diminishing threat for our interior presence. But with Adams playing the way she has at the back half of her senior season, I think that that's something that we're increasingly not having to worry about when Welsh is off the court. She's been doing well in that relief role.
For sure. It's going to be exciting to see another crosstown showdown here at the Eagles Nest this Friday for the girls.
Yeah, I think we are well prepared.
Yeah, for sure. And moving on to boys basketball, they played Rice Lake last week, and a dominant first half where they were up 36-19 carried them to a dominant win.
Yeah, and it really shows that in terms of the BRC, we have asserted ourselves as the number 1 team time and time again. It has been a rather convincing sort of road to dominance that we've seen throughout the course of this season. And this game was a great way to cap it off as we head into, we headed into the penultimate game against a BRC opponent. On the individual side of things, it was nice to see Cooper Jesperson, who had an uncharacteristically inaccurate game against Rice Lake. We were still able to get it done, and he actually didn't even have that bad of a game. It's just by his standards, we weren't seeing as much from him, but he was able to tack on 22 points against the Warriors and show him who's boss this time around.
Yeah. In that first game, he struggled a little bit shooting-wise, but this game he was able to bounce back. Rice Lake really didn't have any answers for him this time, and he was able to score 22 points.
Yeah, and that was against Rice Lake. They had a buzzer beater opportunity to win that game. It was a very defensive-minded game that we saw.
Yeah, that first one.
Yeah, the first one. And then, so for the second game, it was nice to see we were able to open it up on the offensive side of things right away, make sure that we were able to enter halftime with a super big lead. So I think that was really what made the difference in terms of having a far more assertive victory the second time around.
Mm-hmm. And like you were mentioning in that one, in that recap, we are currently number 1 in the BRC, and we have it on lockdown right now. And coming up this week, we play North as the second game in that doubleheader on Friday, and we play at Marshfield on Saturday.
Yeah, so heading into these, We're not quite out of the woods yet. You know, with a rivalry game, anything can happen. You kind of have to have that mentality. And Marshfield, of course, will present itself as one of the more challenging games we've had, I believe, in this past couple weeks here, because unfortunately the game against Totino Grace was similarly canceled due to the weather, just like the one against Breck. So a bit of tough sledding there in terms of getting those tougher matchups. So I think Coach Brisky and the team will be really chomping at the bit to kind of prove themselves here, even with such a dominant regular season behind them so far. In terms of the North game, I think ball movement is going to be the name of the game. It will come down to fundamentals because you look at our roster and the depth we have with all of our senior talent and Ian Bauer, of course. So seeing all of them out there, we were really able to rifle it around, and no one player really came out of the woodwork and shone on the stat sheet and was able to shine on the stat sheet last game against North, because everybody was hitting their shots. Everybody was rifling it around. Cooper Jesperson, 8 assists alone. So I think that sort of thing is what we're going to want to look for.
Yeah, we saw in that previous game that they were really putting an effort towards stopping Cooper Jesperson, and he said, all right, I'll just get 8 assists and pass it to all these other people who were able to have phenomenal games in their own right. It was really a good team win that we saw against them last time, and that's really what I expect going into this next one.
Yeah, and then in terms of Marshfield, after the Crosstown Showdown, we're turning right around and playing them the next day. So we're seeing some good players here, and that's kind of an understatement. We've got a good core 3 coming up. Brooks Hinson, the ringleader, so to speak, with 17.2 points per game going into it, this week that is, and 44.1% from 3. He is a versatile athlete. We saw him, in the football game against them. And so we will be seeing a rather polished sort of figurehead for this Marshfield offense.
And that's not to discount Chris Pohl and Landon Lee, who are also both good, averaging about 13 points per game each. Chris Pohl snatching down boards, Landon Lee throwing dimes too. They've got a good core 3 players, and they're a solid team in general too. They beat Hudson by 15 points, and they've got some other good wins mixed in there. It should be a similar caliber to some of the tougher conference opponents we've played.
Yeah, and that's kind of a nice test for us, even though Totino, Grace, and Breck kind of fell through there due to unforeseen circumstances. Marshfield has a very similar strength of schedule, kind of the caliber opponent you're almost expecting to see as we get to like the regional finals, trying to get deeper into that sectional. We're going to be seeing a lot of teams at that caliber, so this will be almost a good like playoff atmosphere. See some players that we're not used to outside of the conference, and just really put our best foot forward as we're entering into the final 2 weeks of their regular season.
Yeah, it definitely should be some exciting basketball at Marshfield on Saturday, and some exciting crosstown rivalries for both the boys and the girls. Stay tuned, watch it. It should be fun, and as always, go Abes!
Hi everybody, I'm Aidan Rickert, Eagle Eyes, Other Guy. If you're interested in more MHS sports content, be sure to check out our TikTok, Instagram, and check out some of the other videos on our YouTube channel. And while you're at it, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more. Go Abes!